All right, let's talk about Johnny. Was it Johnny or was it Amber that made the jury say that Johnny was telling the truth? So joining us in Los Angeles, forensic psychiatrist, trial expert, witness, and columnist, Dr. Carole Lieberman. And Carole, you've been very vocal, just like Susan, on where you think the deception has been. Was it that Johnny just whelmed the jury with his charm and his slow talking, or was it that he just didn't give off that vibe that he might not be honest that Amber did? Overall, why did they choose Johnny over Amber?
Johnny was real, and you could feel his emotions. You know, he spoke rather slowly it wasn't because he was having processing difficulties, as Amber's psychiatrist said about him. It was because each word to him was so important. He wanted to explain. He waited 6 years for this, and he wanted to explain his truth exactly, precisely. And you know, it's interesting because in a way, he was like the underdog. Now, you know, you wonder, how could he be the underdog? He had a lot more money than Amber. He was a lot more famous than Amber, and so on. But he was being attacked by Mr. Rottenborn, and that helped him. You know, the jury really saw how it wasn't a cross-examination, it was an attack, and that went along with Amber's attacks that we heard about on the tapes and so on.
Johnny Depp's best friend and trial star Isaac Baruch, Ike, they called him, made an impression, of course, during his time on the stand. He was one of the witnesses that may have helped push Depp, and like we talked about before, setting up that scenario for Johnny to succeed. He was right there with the movie star throughout this. And after the verdict, he went to Instagram, did Ike, and he posted a message on his platform saying, in part, I'm beyond the moon happy. Happy for my friend, his family, all his friends who have been there for him, the amazing team of lawyers who fought for our friend and especially kicked some royal bleep and revealed the truth of the matter so you could witness the evidence with your own eyes and ears. I'm also beyond happy for all the millions upon millions of people who have been there for this entire endeavor on this insane thing called the internet. Wow is all I can say. Your love for the truth and justice knows no bounds, and I thank you for that. And I want to say thank you for all of your loving friends and sharing your love with me. It's overwhelming, so thank you, and yes, and this is the last thing he says, it's time to start painting, so Ike is gonna start painting. Carole, your thoughts on Ike?
Yes, I think there are a lot of parallels between how he was and how Johnny was. You know, it's almost like he was a father figure to Johnny. You know, not only did he was funny and so on, but he was real. There was no self-consciousness about him. You know, Amber was super self-conscious. She put herself in a certain position, and everything was deliberate to the extent that she could control it. But you know, he really, especially one of the things that was good that he said, I loved Amber. You know, she was very nice. She was, so it showed that he didn't get up there and start from the beginning to say, oh, she's this horrible person. But at the end, when he ended his testimony, he cried, and he talked about how, you know, it hurt him all the more that she destroyed Johnny's family. And he couldn't believe, you know, he said it was insane, which is interesting because that's the same word that Johnny used. You remember when he was asked in his rebuttal, what do you think of all of this, or how do you feel about all this? And he used the word insane. So they were really in sync. And I think the jury was able to connect to Isaac in a freer way, you know, without feeling like, I shouldn't like him so much because he's the plaintiff, or, you know, one of the parties. So really there were a lot of things. You know, another interesting fact is that when he told that story about Amber having the, you know, saying that the facial mask or whatever wouldn't help him, the picture of Amber was very interesting. She had this smile, and that was like the first real emotion, that we ever saw on her the whole trial.
Yeah, she definitely, I mean, she was right there with the jury and everybody else. Thank you, all of you, so much for your valuable time on this Friday. Appreciate it. When we come back,